Hello Pisces friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Pisces March 2022 Astrology Must Knows Horoscope Forecast. Definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com or click on the little more button underneath this video to reveal the notes with all the links of all the free goodies that I provide for you each month so you can take the most advantage of them. And this is for you if you are a Pisces sun, a Pisces moon, a Pisces rising, or even if you dive deeper into your chart and have a Pisces Venus, Mercury, Mars, whatever you're watching for. What we're going to talk about is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Pisces, so let's say if your birthday is from around March 15th through the rest of the sign, or if you have around 23 degrees placement through the rest of the sign, then I also recommend you watch my Aries video because you late cuspy people have a more complex read. So what's going on in March? We obviously have a lot to talk about. We have birthdays among other things, but a few tidbits right here at the beginning before we dive deep. We do have more sweet aspects than salty ones this month, but we do have quite a lot of aspects of note, and some of them are a little bit, what's the technical term? Yucky? Okay, our professional technical term, yucky. Yes, we do have a few of those this month as well. So stay tuned. At the end of the video, I will have a segment where I actually will talk about 8 very important aspects, what they are, and I'll show you in the chart what you can expect from them. So you can see that later in the report. Big must know is that we are starting eclipse season. So as of around mid-March, eclipse things can happen at any time throughout the year, but that 4 to 6 weeks before the eclipses, we've got Taurus, Scorpio eclipses in April and May. And the middle of March is of that 6-point mark where things start to heat up, kind of like water coming to a boil. When you first put the water on the pan, it's hot. Some bubbles might start to happen, but 6 weeks in or a few minutes in, as for our example here, the bubbles start happening, right? And they start getting more fast and furious as we approach those dates. So major life-changing trajectory shifts, big hellos, big goodbyes, and that feeling like you have your fingers stuck in an electric socket for an extended period of time are all of the hallmarks of eclipse season. So do be aware that those energies are starting, especially towards the middle of the month. We'll talk more about where the eclipses are going to hit and the types of changes you might see in the April and May reports, but just for now, know that you might start to see some shifts and big changes and big news about things to come. One of the biggest must-knows for this month, and one of my personal favorite things to talk about, is that the tides are going out finally, and we're in an open window, okay? So if you followed my work for a while, and if not, now you'll hear the scoop. I'm very, very, very focused on helping you understand these astrological tides. And when we have personal planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, going retrograde or in their shadow period, which is the orb of time before and after their actual retrogrades, that's time for moving inwards and backwards. It's a time when you can do some new things, but a lot of those things are not the bigger long-term things. They're shorter bursts, they're experimental, and so things get a little dicey. They get uncertain. It's hard to plan or see 2 feet ahead of you when you're in retrogrades. But now, as of March 2nd to 3rd, depending on what time zone you're in, we are free from Venus retrogrades post-shadow period. That was a long one, the whole Venus retrograde cycle that ruled love, booty, and money. We're also clear of the Mercury retrograde, and we've got from around March 3rd until around April 27th, where we're completely free from any personal retrograde influence. And that's really important because this is the time now to make your big decisions, make your big purchases, make your big sales, get clarity, make your plans, do anything that has to do with something for long term. So long term launches like bringing your life's work out, or launching a book, or doing something that you want the shelf life to be very, very long. Engagements, weddings, anything like that. Starting businesses, having your birth date of a business, moves, big job changes that may require a move, things like that are all very, very, very well supported now, not only because we're in the open period, but also because the Aries placements are starting to move in, and that's bringing lots of momentum, lots of oomph, lots of energy returning, and more certainty and clarity for a lot of people in a lot of circumstances, okay? It would be nice if every single person could have clarity at every single time, but we know it doesn't work that way. But the odds of increased clarity are greatly higher at this time. So big tides going out, must know, open time, launch time. Okay, so let's see. One of the things that's very important about this launch time also is that we only really have 2 good open windows in the whole of 2022 as these big launch times, because Mars is going to be retrograde at the end of the year, and that pre-shadow period starts at the beginning of September. So all of September through December is covered in Mars retrograde, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's not anything to fear. But it's a time when your oomph, your stamina, your get up and go, just kind of sort of got up and went, and everything starts to go back. So it's latter part of the year is not a time that's going to be very well supported for launches and for having your most zest for forcing things out, unless they're short-term things, experimental, etc. But like your big projects and your big decisions, we only have 2 windows. This one here from around March 3rd through April 27th. And then we have one from around June 19th through around August 21st or so. But after that, that's it. That's all we got. So that puts more emphasis on the 2 that we have, which this one is now opening. Okay, so another big must know is that we have strong Pisces energies at this time. And of course, that also means we have birthdays starting. So happy birthday to those of you who are going to happy birthday. And for those of you who have a placement other than your sun for Pisces, you are also going to get a very big happy opening and the universe being more receptive to your intentions, the same way birthday people do, because when the sun crosses over any placement, it gives a nice, just a rejuvenation, an amplification, a bump, some incentive, some oomph. And so, but those of you whose birthdays are going to be in March, and that's going to be most of you, most Pisces, right, will have your birthday in March. You definitely want to make your birthday wishes. So big keys of your birthday wishes, writing them down, saying them out loud, and feeling them as if they've already come true. Okay, so happy birthday to you all. I also have a video on this if you just look for Making Wishes Come True, Annie. I think it'll even just come up even without my last name. Then you can see more about how to utilize your birthday wishes. But what also is a big must know is that this is a time of rebirth, of renewal, of regeneration, a time when your physical body is coming into focus, a time when you're reevaluating who you are and what you're doing in the world and how you're presenting that, really down to the physical level, your wardrobe and your hair and what you call yourself. And so the fact that we're now done with this Venus retrograde stuff, if you've been wanting to do something big with your physical body, like go on a big weight loss program, go, cut all your hair off, do anything that is more of a permanent thing that the Venus retrograde wasn't good for, March is a much better time for, saying, not that you couldn't go on a weight loss routine in Venus retrograde, you can, but I mean things like cutting your hair off, buying a whole new wardrobe, things like that. And that could be very well indicated now, because with your first house so well aspected, it's really bringing focus to your physical body, and you can get to a new sense of joy and acceptance and love of your physical body. And if you have health issues, you might be able to get to the bottom of what's going on. Jupiter in Pisces, plus all of these other placements, are making a lot of foot problems come up. So if you've had some additional foot problems, you might be closer to finding your solution to whatever the issue is. And if you have a foot thing going on, then definitely look into it, because there might be something deeper there brewing that you'll need to give attention to. But in any case, this is a really great time of rebirth and focus on yourself and your life and your process and your journey, and really just taking that sacred time of personal pursuits where you're really reconfiguring how you want to live your life and making some big choices, and the stars are completely supporting your rebirth and your renewal. Now, for those of you who are later in the sign, and this is relevant for all Pisces if you're watching this early, the times before your birthday or before the sun crosses over your Pisces placement means that the sun and usually other planets are crowding in your 12th house. So it's very common to have extra anxiety, extra stress, fear, old patterns brew or seem to get stronger in the time before your birthday, the weeks before your birthday. And that's purposeful because the universe wants you to take action on the root causes of things. And then it also wants to help you see what you don't want so that you can use your intentions and your wishes for setting into process what you do want. So, if you notice that, try to avoid self-medicating and really tune into what is the problem, and maybe use some self-development tools like EFT, the Emotional Freedom Technique, the same things that I always talk about, or you can search for self-development tools, healing addictions, just things that really work on the thing that you might start to self-medicate to avoid, especially before your birthday time. This is a really good time to make some headway on the root causes of things. Okay, so while we're talking about the birthday energy, let's also throw in there this full moon in Virgo, because having a full moon in the sign opposing yours is very notable. Okay, so let's break this down. Full moons tend to bring fruition, completion, things coming to a head, for better or worse. Now, fortunately, this full moon has two beautiful aspects on the same day, which give it extra chances for beautiful manifestations, and any drama that comes gives it more of a chance for positive outcome, and it makes it possible that the things that are coming to a head could be something really good and really sweet. So let's hope that. Now, those of you who are in the very late degree spectrum, so we'll say about 22 degrees through the rest of the sign, really, and the closer you are to 27 degrees, you are going to get more of a direct hit from that opposition. And it is an opposition, so it does tend to pull you in two directions. In this case, it will be me versus we. It will be your intuition versus logic. And that energy is coming up for all Pisces, but those of you with birthdays, we'll say around March 13th through the rest of the sign, or 22 to 23 degrees and later, have more of a chance for notable outcomes from this full moon, and possibly a little bit more stress. Now remember, sometimes stress is not bad. Like when you're weightlifting, you stress your muscle, and that's a good thing that it builds, right? So with the right stress and with dealing with stress in a positive way, some stress can actually be good. So you don't have to fear these stress points, but they do sometimes come in a way that are challenging. And since this is, you are a water sign, this is an earth sign, it is opposing, just kind of, if you can leave the dates around March 18th, just want to check. Yes. March 18th, a little unscheduled, less scheduled if possible, so you can kind of be present with what happens. You might find that you're grateful for that. But in any case, all Pisces placements will likely have something come to fruition, come to completion, come to drama, come out in the open in the partnership sector, okay? And this can also manifest for everyone with animals, pets, work, office, health situation, because those are ruled by the actual Virgo placement. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about has to do with Jupiter is still in Pisces, okay? So for those of you who are 14 degrees through the rest of the sign, you are in the process of getting your Jupiter connection with your sun or whatever other placement. So between March, April, and the first part of May, all the rest of you 14 degrees and later are going to have your Jupiter hopefully kiss. All right, so when Jupiter crosses over a placement, it often can bring amazing luck. It can bring unprecedented expansion. It can bring benevolence, like a solution that comes in. It can bring extra joy. It can bring something working out in a really big way. And so that's very exciting. Now, we do have to mention also that Jupiter, being as excessive as it is, sometimes can make more messes or can expand something in a way that's not positive. But for the most part, it carries some sort of grace or benevolence with it. So those of you in that spectrum still have this coming. And everybody, all Pisces placements, are still feeling the energy of Jupiter in your first house, okay? So If you've been gaining weight and you're like, why the heck am I gaining so much weight? It might be because Jupiter's in your first house. Now, some of you might be gaining weight like because you're pregnant or because you're trying to build muscle or weight. And that could be, a positive thing that could be an outcome from Jupiter in Pisces. But once Jupiter gets out of your first house and of Pisces, if you're trying to lose weight, it will definitely be helpful. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't lose weight while Jupiter's still there, but you definitely have to focus more on the psychological issues behind whatever the weight situation is going on. And there are a lot of things in your chart pointing to addressing things on that causal level like we talked about before. But even though Jupiter is still in Pisces, what I really wanted to mention is that we're in the scope now where Jupiter is in its transition phase, where it's in Pisces, but in just like 10-ish weeks, starting from the beginning of March, it's going to be out of Pisces and into Aries. And when we're in that zone, even a little bit sooner, like even February, sensitive people might have felt it sooner, it starts having a dual expression where it's manifesting where it is in Pisces, but it's also manifesting energies where it's going to be in Aries. I always try to explain these orbs. These orbs are so important. That's why I talk about the late degree people and the orb between, the transition. The transition times in astrology are not always very much talked about because they're a little bit more complex, but they are just as relevant, okay? So you're going to start seeing the energy of Jupiter moving into Aries at the same time as the Piscean attributes. And what that's going to bring for Pisces is expansion of money and finances, okay? So this is very exciting if you're a Pisces that's been struggling financially. I've seen many people have a lot of money come to them when Jupiter's in the second house. So the story of 2022 and portion of 2023 is going to be very focused on expanding your money, expanding your confidence in yourself, because a lot of times our confidence is what draws money or draws sales or draws a job to us. And so if you feel like you're lacking in confidence, the place to focus, let's say if you're trying to get a job, rather than focusing 100% of your job search on the actual job search, focus like 30 to 40% of it on the money psychology and your belief that good things can happen to you, and clearing the past and clearing the trauma of your money circumstances and your confidence in yourself so that you can be more attractive to the job potentials that are out there. So it seems if job things or money security is bouncing off of you, that's because you have an inner program. The vibration, everything is vibration. The vibration of stories locked within our being from things our parents believed, from things society told us, from things that have happened to us. It like gets coded into our nervous system. And that code sings out of frequency. And that frequency has attractive qualities. And it attracts to us the story of whatever that vibration is. Okay, so this is a time when if you've done inner work on money, or even if you haven't, it may just show up. And your income could increase, but your expenses may also increase. And that's the one thing to watch out for this time that we're stepping into, is that as you have more money coming in, you might be spending it fast and furiously. So you might want to start maybe putting 10 to 20% aside for savings for a rainy day to get into that habit. But this year and next year can really completely redo your financial picture, and you might start seeing signs of that as Jupiter's getting ready to go into that space. Okay, so now let's talk about the individual aspects that I have on my mind, and those couple of yucky ones, as we talked about before, and also a lot of really great ones. Okay, so in March 2022, we do have more sweet aspects than salty ones, and we do have this beautiful open period where it's a great time to make big decisions, and things that are very monumental might come to you, but it's also a time where you can conjure and plan and take big steps. And this is really important because we only have one more such period this year, because once Mars retrograde shadow starts to take over in September, we're going to spend the rest of the year in a shadow period. Okay, so this period between around March 3rd and April 27th is a very action-oriented time. So keep that in mind. But we're going to go through some notable aspects. Now, if you'd like to have a more complete list of the aspect, the date, what you can expect from them, them delivered into your inbox 1 month early, definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com and sign up for my free email newsletter where you will get exactly that report delivered to your inbox 1 month early. But we're just going to touch on a couple of these here for March 2022. All right, so the first thing we have here is one of these Saturn aspects. Now remember, Saturn aspects, like everything in astrology, like everything in life, can have a dual aspect, but because it's a conjunction, these can kind of go either way. It's not a sweet aspect or a salty aspect per se, it's one that could go either way. And Saturn can bring harshness, but Saturn can bring accomplishment. Okay, so we've got Mercury, which at this point is here, but it's going to, well, actually you can see they're together. See, they're the same. So right here at the beginning of the month, Mercury and Saturn are together. Okay. Now, the second thing is March 3rd, and this is a big deal. This is when Venus and Mars and Pluto, so Venus, Mars, Pluto combination will all be together. And that's pretty intense. We know Pluto rules birth, death, transformation, rebirth. Sometimes the death is literal, sometimes it's figurative, but there's definitely transformation afoot. And we've got the, male and female energies, our action, our just money, love, how we use our energy. Everything is all coming together, and that can be for better or worse. So major transformation is afoot. This is an amazing launch time for business collaborations, things like that. And also a time to be cautious. When these energies get together, particularly Mars and Pluto, people who might be on edge already can blow up in not a good way. So there's blowing up in a good way, like, wow, something goes viral, or there's like tempers flare, anger issues. So if you are in a situation where you don't feel safe in your circumstances, this is definitely a time to be in a safe place, because volatility will run high, and you definitely need to know about that. So that's intense for better or worse. But in the sign of Capricorn here, we've definitely got a lot of business potential, financial potential, all coming together in the love, money, work, that kind of thing. Then March 5th, we have the Sun and Jupiter getting together. These will come to be at the same degree. And this again is one that could be for better or worse. The challenging side of this can bring some confusion, some disillusion, some, betrayal, breaches to security, things like that. On the plus side, it can be highly creative and highly spiritually transformational. Then we have this beautiful full moon at 27 degrees of Virgo. So anyone who's close to 27 degrees of an earth or water sign will get special kisses from that. We'll say between 22 and 29 degrees of an earth or water sign. And plus there are two great aspects. So that means not just those people who I just mentioned will get extra kisses. Everyone in the zodiac, every position can get extra kisses, because this full moon is blessed with two amazing aspects at the same time. Then we've got a little bump here, and let's see, so Venus is going to come, this Venus here is going to square Uranus, and a square is a challenging aspect. So money, love can get a little Uranus surprise. Usually that's an uncomfortable surprise, but I have seen situations where that's brought in like a crazy love situation in a good way. I've seen where something could come in and be jostling at first, but it could actually be positive. But expect surprises in love and money at that time. And then we've got the astrological new year, right? Astrological new year always feels more like a new year to me than January 1st. But we've got this beautiful time, and this is a great time for vision boards. Vision boards are where you either virtually or on paper, like cut out magazine or other things, affirmations, pictures of essences that you want to bring for the year. The universe is especially receptive to your intentions and your wishes and your, what you're working on at this time. Plus, we've got an extra boost with Mercury making a conjunction with the great benefic Jupiter. So that's very, very, very expansive, and that will be worked into our whole astrological new year from March 20th to around March, of 2022 until that time in 2023. So this is a really big boost, big time for planting seeds, wonderful time for launches, making big decisions, things like that. We are also going to have the influence on March 22nd of Mars square Uranus. Okay, so we know that Venus came and did this. You know, Mars and Venus are traveling closely together at this time. And then Mars will square Uranus. And that one is a little bit similar to this Mars and Pluto, where you kind of got to watch this one. It could be a little more dangerous accidents, you know, jolts in not a good way. You have to be more careful. Don't do extra weight at the gym on this day. Don't, you know, not be present when you're lifting weights or when you're driving or walking on a ladder. You know, if there's some kind of dangerous activity, I would avoid it at this time if you can. And then people can also behave unexpectedly. So just kind of watch yourself, tune into your intuition. It's a good day to really just keep the distractions low so you can use your psychic feelers to navigate around any potential issues. Then we end off with this really nice new moon in Aries. Kickoff of this is basically the New Year's astrological New Year kickoff party. So we have the New Year on the 21st time, but then this is like the big party where the energies are really strong. And this is another great time for a vision board, setting intentions, you know, brainstorming. And this is also, in general, March is a fantastic time for making plans for the future, for moves, any kind of commitments, contracts, buying new, you know, big things, selling things, remodels, anything, engagements, weddings. All of that is really great in March and really has a lot of strong energy through the end of April for all of that positive momentum. Okay, so if you want more dates and what you might see from them, then definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com and sign up for the free email newsletter there right on the front page, and you'll get a welcome letter that will have an archive link that will get you access to anything that I've sent, and you can go deeper into what may be coming in March. Okay, so I've given you lots to work with to help you make the most of the energies this month and to help you understand the energetic patterns at work and play. And if you'd like more resources, I've got all of these here. You can additionally go to the little more button, the little arrow underneath the bottom right of the video. Click on that, and all of the links that I'm giving you here will be clickable, right? So if you're looking for reading options, including a beautiful, very detailed 45-minute audio of your birth chart for $33 from my brilliant husband, you can find that at anniebclarity.com. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. This is where you can access running a free birth chart. This is where you access my 28-day in-depth virtual coaching program called Shine for free. This is also where you'll find tons of blogs, and you get lots of other perks for being on my newsletter list. If you're looking for written horoscopes by me, always up a month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you haven't seen this site, go to it. It is so beautiful. We've got, me and my team have lots of amazing astrology-inspired blogs and healthy living blogs. We've got hypnosis for all the signs. We've got healing frequencies for all the signs. I've got the written horoscopes that I write. We have yoga for all the signs. So it's just a very beautiful, comprehensive site. If you're looking for free courses on how to manifest money and wellness, you can go to lumlife.com, my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUMLIFE. You can also find my astrology education courses here, including my behemoth of a master course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to be a professional astrologer, but it certainly will get you up to the level where you could be and show you how to make your business a success. And payment plans are available there too. Now, I've also got 2 books out and more on the way. Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You will find this on the bookshelves in all major booksellers, including all the Books A Million, all the Barnes & Nobles. It's right there on the shelf. Plus, you can get it on Amazon and through any independent bookseller. And you can find Radical Prayer on Amazon, and you can order it anywhere as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.